Now, we've been told all along that LGBT rights is not going to affect anybody. It's not going to harm anybody. What people do in the privacy of their homes is their business, and it's not going to cause anybody any trouble, except if you happen to go to the gym. Recently at Planet Fitness, a woman was shocked, it says here, that when she was in the woman's locker room and in walked a man. And when she complained about this, the management said, "Well, we've gotten complaints about him, but he identifies as a woman, and our policy is you can use whatever locker room you identify with internally as your gender." She couldn't believe this, so she contacted the corporate Planet Fitness office, who told her the same thing. And her membership was revoked. And to be fair, it wasn't because she complained. It's because when she kept going back to the gym, she'd tell all the ladies in the locker room about this. And so, of course, this is bad for business and apparently in violation of their policies to be spreading dissent within the gym, complaining about that. So, and as this has been reported, one thing that has not been reported and not talked about really is the effect on Planet Fitness. Now, maybe Planet Fitness is all on board on this. Maybe they're not. I mean, if we take a look at a map, and if I expand this, we see, I get myself out of the way. Should be, all right, there we go. We see, they're all over the country. All over the country. And I've heard that there are 17 out of the 20 major cities in America have ordinances protecting LGBT people. That doesn't necessarily mean all of them have the ability for transgender people to go in the bathrooms. And then there's an additional upward of 200 municipalities around the country that have these type of ordinances as well. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean that it protects transgendered people or gives them the right to go in whatever bathroom they want or locker room, but there are these ordinances saying, you can't discriminate against sexual orientation at least. And so, Planet Fitness is being berated for this. And when they pass these ordinances, by the way, they always say, oh, this is good for business, very good for business. Well, this headline here says that, Planet Fitness is losing members. A lot of people are canceling their memberships just over the policy, let alone that if they go to their local gym and in walks a man in the ladies' locker room, or vice versa, a woman walking in the men's locker room as well. But what is Planet Fitness to do? I was just wondering. They're nationwide. They have all these ordinances saying they have to comply. What are they supposed to do? I mean, it's pretty much either they comply or they go out of business. Now, they could have, depending on the market, if the market has an ordinance, then they have to comply, and where they don't have one, then they wouldn't. Typically, big corporations like to have uniform policies throughout. But it says here recently on the Huffington Post that it's a top priority for the LGBT voters to have a federal non-discrimination policy, which would include for transgendered folks to use whatever facilities they identify with. This here says that the Human Rights Campaign, largest LGBT rights organization in the country, and also some legal fund here, they've been working on this for 6 months. And when the vice president spoke at the Human Rights Campaign event, he said that we've got to pass federal non-discrimination legislation, and they need to pass it now. So, it's going to be the case that, people are bashing Planet Fitness for this, but you're not going to have a real choice. If that gets passed, and the White House is certainly on board, the courts are on board, a lot of legislators are, then that's how it's going to be in every gym in the country, even the YMCA, because they don't want to give any exceptions for any religious organizations. We were told that religious people weren't going to be affected by any of this, but kind of turns out otherwise. And people say, well, it's religious people want to be legal to discriminate. Well, you can take a look here. I'll put this link in the article about my article about the conflict of discrimination, and pretty much when the government is trying to protect multiple classes of people, they have conflicting desires, or they have conflicting rights. And when that happens, you got to choose one or the other. Someone's going to get discriminated against, and someone's going to get discriminated for. It's inevitable. But as this is the way things are going, and so, right now, Planet Fitness, you might lose your membership there or quit because of this policy. But if the LGBT crowd gets their way, you won't be going to any gym in the country because they want to pass a federal bill that this would be just nationwide. So just keep that in mind. Thanks for watching.